Howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast 221. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a great New Year's. You've made resolutions that will get you through the year, especially move your photography forward. I want to thank you for all your well wishes over the holiday season. You guys are simply the greatest. You kept filling up my email box with some really great sentiment, photographs, and some good questions. So I thank you so much for giving me such a joyous season and a great start to the new year. I also want to thank my good friends at Bedford Camera, Bedfords.com, for sponsoring the Moose Podcast. They're with me for another year, and I appreciate their faith in me and, of course, more importantly, what they do for all of us photographers and the industry, helping us move the ball forward. Being the new year, tax year, of course, got to get some new gear, so instantly I reached out to them. The 7200-28Z lens will be here shortly. I can't wait, and I thank them for all they do. So remember, head to Bedfords.com, mention the Moose Podcast. You do it by phone. Type it in when you check out. You're going to save some real cash. Most likely won't be paying sales tax and, of course, free shipping for over $99. And you know, you don't have to sit there and buy something. You can call them up and ask for help and advice. They've got really great people there at all the stores. You can call and ask for advice. It's free. They'll help you out. Bedford's Camera, Bedfords.com. Let's get to this week's topic. It comes from one of your emails. Simple faith. So I got an email about a week ago, just before Christmas, I think. And this photographer, I talk about doing my homework. This guy, he went over the top. Seriously. He had gone through a lot of my photographs that are posted like on my Instagram, on the website. He even went through photographs on the Kelby 1 classes, some of the classes like the finishing class, looking at the before and after. I mean, this guy, the email was super long. And what they had done is they'd gone through all these photographs that they said they would not have taken, literally would not have taken. And they looked at the shots of mine, knowing they wouldn't have taken it, but they really loved the photographs. And their questions came down to, why didn't I use the rule of thirds? Or why did I have this element and that element? And I have to tell you, this person had more knowledge of my own images than I did. I had to go and look at some of my photographs just to be on the same page with them. And the bottom line was, he said, you kept doing these things, Moose, that I would never have done because either I had read that you shouldn't do that, I had been told at a camera club critique I shouldn't do that, I had taken classes that said you didn't do that. And he said, but you keep doing that, Moose. And why? And I was, it took me for about a week to answer him because I didn't have a direct answer other than the fact that all the things he had mentioned that he had for his own personal references, the things he read, seen, been told, I hadn't read or seen or been told. And when it comes to arranging elements in the viewfinder, I don't think about those things. I rather feel those things. I just go with simple faith in that the story I want to tell is going to come across using means other than what you're probably always being told you should use. And I realized as I wrote this out that I don't think it, I feel it. That's really pretty much kind of useless information. I mean, how can you, trying to learn photography, when someone like myself says, yeah, I don't think it, I feel it, put that into your viewfinder to make a photograph? And that really put me in a tailspin. I really had to think about how could I do that. Help you with more concrete. And the reason why I'm talking in this podcast is called Simple Faith is I kind of came down to the thought, I could be totally wrong, that a lot of people, photographers, perhaps you, perhaps myself in the beginning, I can't remember that. Heck, I can't remember 15 years ago when we were trying to house train our Sadie and now trying to do Maggie. So some things are just slipping out of the way. Anyway, back to the story. How can I give you some concrete to move forward with in this whole process? And I think it comes down to the fact that when you start out, you don't have a lot of simple faith in yourself, your photography, and your photographs, because you do see so much conflicting information. So many people trying to put out, what they think is the answer. And Lordy, I was guilty of that way back when I was, it was my way or the highway. And that's just wrong. It doesn't work that way. Not in any creative field does that work. So where do you turn when you don't know these things yet? Well, you have to have some simple faith in yourself. Let me give you an example. Your home. You have walls a certain color, floors a certain color, certain pieces of furniture, rug, hardwood floors, and then you arrange items on the wall. Now, some people pay an interior decorator to come in and do that, and they give their input, and then the decorator kind of takes that and then goes their way with the space. And you have two options. You either really love it because you just spent the money, you'd feel silly, or you say, no, I don't like that, and then you really feel even more silly. So with photography, right, versus your interior, how many do you invite into your living space and say, okay, tell me what you think. Do you like the upholstery on the couch? Do you like the color of the rug? What about the texture of the wall? Do you get a community feedback to your living space? Most likely not. You just go with what makes you feel comfortable, warm, homey, safe. You have simple faith in your own judgment that as you arrange those elements in that living space, they fit you. So when you take a photograph, why do so many photographers feel like they need to reach out and seek help? I see it all the time. People post a photograph and they say, give me your thoughts. As if, A, you can go back and reshoot the picture because somebody's going to give you the thought that's going to be better. It doesn't work that way. Unless you got a sterile studio where nothing changes. B means you can go back and in the digital darkroom and change that photo, which, while practical and can be done, doesn't help you the next time you take the photograph. Or lastly, just have simple faith that what you shot at that moment is how you felt safe, warm, comfortable in arranging all those elements, just like you did the interior of a home. And for that moment, you're comfortable with it. Why do you need to ask someone else's opinion to become uncomfortable? Having simple faith in yourself, and I'm not one of using the word confidence because you never have confidence if you're a photographer. Never. I don't care who you are. I never have confidence. Why would you have confidence? There's always someone that's going to say something that's going to, chip away at that. So confidence, no. Faith, yeah. That you did your best at that moment and that was what was meant to be at that moment that you present. Have simple faith in that. And have faith that you did some things wrong and some things right. And then have faith that you should be able to figure out both of those so you don't do the one, but you repeat the other. Can we apply this to all aspects of photography? No, you cannot have simple faith in the camera gear you buy, in that the camera gear you buy is going to do its job, but doesn't mean you bought the right piece for the job at hand. That goes with the process. When it comes to have you bought and do you have simple faith you've got the correct camera bag? We all know that doesn't happen, right? We all have closets, basements, rooms filled with camera bags. So I'm not talking about all aspects of photography when I'm saying have simple faith in yourself, other than when it comes to that photograph. Here it is. We've got a new year, right? Well, in reality, it's just a couple of days down the calendar. But we put big emphasis on the fact that the actual year has changed by one digit. With that change, is it possible that you could, for yourself in your photography, take the next step forward by not embracing a new technique, not buying a new piece of gear, not installing a new piece of software, not even necessarily going after a new subject, but embracing just a new thought, that you have faith in yourself. Just think that you, because you are the biggest mover of your world, if you just had a little bit more faith in your own photography, that when you put it out there, people can throw their darts at it and they bounce off. You sit there and perhaps take what feedback you want, okay? Not feedback you need, but feedback you want, and then move forward from that spot, having simple faith in your own abilities at this point. Understanding that your abilities tomorrow, next week, and next month, and even next year, they will grow. Have simple faith in that knowledge that all those things will transpire as you move it forward. And as you have simple faith in yourself, you'd be surprised buying that next piece of gear, trying that new technique in the digital darkroom, going after that new subject, maybe going after the same subject in a new way. You will be able to do it in a way that your photography is going to be improved, simply because those little things in the back of your mind start being eliminated. And that's where I think I can got to the point where, rather than I think about the photograph, I feel the photograph, because I have simple faith in myself to move that ball forward. That photograph will move forward. I know I kind of went a long way around to get to that point, but that I don't think about that photograph. I feel that photograph comes from that simple faith of all those things that will happen. Most importantly, that I know tomorrow, no matter what happens, the sun will rise. That's simple faith. And that's what I think is more important, especially right now in the way things are evolving in our world and pages are being turned, that simple faith can be put into many different aspects of our everyday, especially our photography. So I hope that kind of explains a little bit for your one email that came in, because that was a long one and you had done your homework. And I felt really kind of bad that I hadn't actually, spelled out as best I could everything that was going on there. But, simple faith, it can move mountains. You folks have a great week. Go out there, experience that world, and remember to make every click your story.